Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris leading GOP contender former President Donald Trump by 2 points in the latest Fox News national poll. Harris has a 50-48 lead. It's the first time she's led Trump in the poll of registered voters. But Election Day is still 46 days away. And the candidates are in a hot pursuit of battleground voters on the campaign trail. Later today, Trump will be attending 2 different events with prominent Jewish donors in Washington, D.C. He is set to address GOP mega donor Miriam Adelson's event called Fighting Anti-Semitism in America. And then he is expected to give a speech at the Israeli-American Council's National Conference to commemorate the first anniversary of Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel. The vice president headed to Detroit, Michigan to join Oprah Winfrey at a live stream event to secure more support in the swing state. And with less than 2 months before voters head to the ballot boxes, are both sides leaving votes on the table due to what some believe is a totally antiquated system? Venture capitalist Bradley Tusk is out to turn your mobile phone into a ballot box. His new book, Vote from Your Phone: Why Mobile Voting is Our Final Shot at Saving Democracy, outlines a case for this. He has personally invested $20 million to turn his app, VoteHub, into reality. And since its inception in 2021, VoteHub has conducted 21 successful elections in 7 states. Tusk Ventures partner CEO Bradley Tusk joins us now. Boy, you are a gutsy guy. A lot of people are against this.
Yep.
They're against voting by mail, okay?
Yeah, sure.
But we do everything with our phones.
Yes.
We manage our finances. We transfer money, lots of it, through the phone lines. And you are pushing, obviously, for mobile phones to turn into voting booths. Make your case.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we have a world where voting is just too inconvenient. Not enough people do it. You know, average turnout, especially in the primary races, is 10 to 20%. Those are the extremes, and they tend to dictate not only who wins office, but then what they do once they're in office. And I would say most Americans actually agree on most issues, but the problem is most people don't show up to vote in a city council election, a state senate election, their congressional primary, whatever it might be. And so their views don't really matter. And if we want the 2 parties to be able to work together again and get things done, and I just want to see things get done. I have some views that are on the right, some are on the left, a lot are in the middle. But ultimately, if everyone has the ability to at least try to work together, we got a shot. And right now, the system is designed in a way to make that impossible.
I mean, we're looking at the lines at ballot boxes all across the nation.
Yeah.
Standing in line is just one of the issues.
Yeah.
You talk about disabled people who cannot get to the voting places. We talk about military members who are working overseas.
Yep.
They've had problems where their voting by mail comes in late. Not to mention people who are hit by weather disasters, right? I mean, if you're looking at weather disasters, but the issue of disabled voters, 38.3% of eligible voters are disabled here in America, and they're twice as likely to report problems voting than other voters. In your book, I was reading about the woman from Maryland who was blind, is blind, and she showed up to her voting place, which she had confirmed had a special machine, which helps blind voters, and it was broken.
I mean, that happens time and time again. I mean, think about it. We think voting is a pain. Imagine just living as blind, getting around as blind, going to a polling place where we sort of have almost no expectations of anything being competent or functional, and then hoping that the machines work. And if they don't work, what she had to do was tell a poll worker, well, I want to vote for so-and-so, and then hope that that's who they mark down.
Well, yeah, and also that's a privacy issue, too.
Yeah, privacy, everything, right? And so, or you mentioned military. Imagine, you're literally risking your life to protect our right to vote, all right? Most of us don't even use most of the time. And you mail in your ballot from Kandahar, and it shows up 3 weeks after the election, and it goes in the trash. Like, that's offensive.
You were one of Uber's first investors. And the taxi industry tried very hard to destroy Uber.
They did.
In the early days. You used smartphones to battle back against powerful lobbies and the politicians who sided with them because they had gotten campaign contributions.
Right.
How did you do that?
So, you know, ultimately, when we were starting out, it's funny because now everyone thinks of Uber, especially on a business show like this, it's just this giant company. But we were a tiny little Series A startup. I think my conference room in my crappy little office was our office for a while in New York. And taxi was, like you said, a big, muscular industry, and they had lobbyists and political donations. But we had people, right? And we gave people a better product And then through the app, they were able to tell their city council members, their mayors, their state reps, whoever mattered in that jurisdiction,
we love it.
Leave this thing alone. Millions of people did, and we won in every single market.
I can hear people screaming through the television
I'm sure.
Spectrum. Liz, it's not secure.
Yeah.
What do you say about that? Because you've rolled this out in 7 states.
Yep.
Including Oregon and West Virginia, red and blue states who embraced it. It worked. But what about encryption? How do you keep this safe?
Yeah, so we have built a system that the U.S. Vote Foundation laid out a series of recommendations, and the app is end-to-end encrypted, end-to-end verifiable. It's air-gapped. It has multi-factor authentication. It has biometric screening, and most importantly, it's open-sourced. And not only would I argue that it is, far more secure than any other way we vote, it is probably the single most secure voting system ever put together, in part because open source means that our work can be audited, it can be verified independently, people can check it for bugs or errors. And the reason why we were in a position to do this and others were not is I'm doing this philanthropically. It's all out of my foundation. And so if you're a private company, you can't make your code open source because that's your code, right? That's your property. But I'm lucky to be in a position, thanks to my investment in Uber, where I can afford to do this stuff. And that's what we're doing.
The cloud, people would say, isn't safe.
Well,
you send a vote up into the air.
So
and
the same, I would say this.
Somehow
if you believe
it?
that, here's who the same system we're using on the cloud is used by NASA, the Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI. So unless you just want to argue that we should go back to the Stone Age, right, and not have internet at all, and maybe we should try burning witches at the stake while we're at it. If you want to go back to that world, we can, but we live in a world right now where people live on their phones, and we got to meet people where they are.
I took a straw poll in the newsroom this morning, and everybody said they would be way more inclined to vote if they could just do it through their mobile phone.
Yeah.
So
you're waiting for your coffee, you're sitting on the bus.
People have psychiatry sessions over the web securely.
Of course. Yeah, I have one of my portfolio companies. It's called Alma, and they facilitate telemedicine for psychiatry. I mean, so yeah, it's a booming business.
And it was something that many people didn't want to do initially. That and transferring money. I mean, the first time we all used Venmo or Zelle, it was, is it going to get there? And now we just do it every day.
Don't even think twice about it.
We will continue to watch. We will watch.
Well, thanks for letting me talk about it, and we're going to keep fighting for this. So appreciate the chance to make the case.
The book is called Vote with Your Phone,
Yes.
and even if you're against it, you guys should read this, because Republicans and Democrats who are part of the states that actually tried this really like it, and they are sticking up for it.